You started your business to build something great, but now you find yourself the chief of everything. Juggling all the balls is holding you back. I'm Catherine Brown, and this is the podcast for founders ready to trade the all-the-hat hustle for high-impact growth. We've invited top subject matter experts across all business areas to come share what they believe founders need to know. Start using the levers that actually move the needle. Welcome to Chief of Everything. On this episode of Chief of Everything, I introduce you to my friend, Dana Casto. He is a fractional chief marketing officer who works with consultants and coaches. Fractional CMO means that he cares about your plan first and foremost, not random tactics like outsourcing Instagram posts that your neighbor's kid does for you or buying ad hoc ads, rushing before a speaking event. Dana addresses the marketing overwhelm all micro-business owners have felt. You will see that a marketing strategy is something anyone can think about because he shares his 3-part framework and teaches us. This framework is a Venn diagram that you won't want to miss, and I love Venn diagrams. So let's dive in so you can stop doing random acts of marketing. It's time to have your marketing produce the qualified leads you want. Dana, I'm so excited to talk with you about marketing. You're the marketing pro. I'm the marketing loving amateur. So glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Catherine. Really appreciate it.
So on this episode, we're talking about how people move from being the chief of everything in their business in a bad way, which is just how we all start, to being a smart chief of everything. And we're going to talk today about marketing strategy with you. And so my first question that I want to open with is kind of a paradigm shift. I want to ask, what is the marketing principle that feels kind of wrong to that founder, but is actually a secret to scaling?
Yeah, absolutely. I love this question. So from where I sit as a marketing advisor, I see lots of B2B service providers think they actually need to do more when it comes to marketing. What they actually need is clarity around what's working, what's not, and where they should focus their energy when it comes to their marketing and sales. So I see a lot of wasted time, I see a lot of wasted energy, and a lot of wasted money because they're unclear on where to focus. And I bucket these focus areas into 3 themes.
Okay.
That first theme is fragmentation. And what I mean by that is everything that they're doing is kind of disconnected. So nothing really compounds over time. That often looks like treating marketing as isolated tactics or creating content in every format they can think of, but not really understanding which format performs best for them and their audience.
Okay. Fragmentation.
Everything they should be doing needs to relate to everything else that they're doing. They need a measurable goal-aligned strategy. Okay?
Okay.
So the second bucket is what I call reactivity. And what I mean by that is that they're chasing momentum instead of building consistency. That often looks like reacting to slow periods, kind of panicking a little bit, right? Or they're reinventing messaging instead of just fine-tuning it over time.
Okay.
Marketing is a long game, not necessarily a quick win. Small adjustments along the way yield better understandings over time than throwing everything out and hitting a reset. That hard reset, you don't really learn a lot from it. You're just starting over. And this third bucket I call misalignment. And what I mean by that is they're visible. They have a website, they're on social channels, they're sending emails, they're going to events, but they're not reaching the right people. That often looks like they're talking to too broad of an audience, or they're going where they want to go instead of where their audience is. So they're not necessarily showing up in the right places to meet the right people at the right time.
Okay.
So the advice that I give is that they need to get specific about one audience and really understand where that audience is and go there.
One audience, where are they? Question mark, and go there.
Yeah.
Now, something you've said, Dana, that I'm going to bring up and play devil's advocate or pretend to be that small business founder, which I am. I don't have to pretend very, very, very hard for that. Okay, when I hear some of the things you say, this little flashing light is going off in my brain, and it's saying, when you're talking about proof or data or things that indicate, how do you know? And I literally think, oh, that feels hard. Are you telling me that as a chief of everything, I have to learn to understand Google Analytics? What are we talking about that is the baseline for a solid foundation for founders?
Yeah, absolutely. And if we're talking about lots of different service offerings or products, it can feel really overwhelming.
Yeah.
So, one of the pieces of advice that I give all the time is think about one service offering and getting really good at that one problem solving solution that you've developed over time. And so, when you're focused on one offer, you can follow the 1-1-1 rule.
Okay.
One clear audience that they serve for that problem that they're solving, and one meaningful problem that they're solving for. And they're going to one channel to show up consistently for that.
One audience, one problem, one channel.
Yep. One audience, one problem, one channel.
Okay. So, what are you going to say to the person who says, I feel like I have to do a test? How do I know which channel's right for me?
Yeah. So this comes to often a question around like content or format for their marketing.
Okay.
And so one of the questions that I ask clients all the time is, where do you love to show up? What brings you joy? Do you like online communities, or do you like in-person events? Do you like one-on-one conversations, or do you like group formats? Because when you can identify marketing tactics or strategies that actually bring you joy and you love doing it, guess what? You're more likely to actually do it consistently over time.
It's kind of like you're a trainer, a health trainer, saying,
Yeah,
if you are willing to do that, you just go you. Like, I don't have to
right.
convert you to liking Zumba if you don't like Zumba, right? That's not going to work. You're not going to go. So, what is something that gets you moving that you do enjoy?
Motivation is a huge deal. And you really, to actually move the needle, it's actually much more about consistency and repeatability. You know, new year, new you often means people are going to the gym more and more often, right?
Right.
But what's the statistic? Like 90% or so drop off after February 1,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But if you think about it in terms of like, okay, I'm going to block 60 minutes once a week to go to the gym. I'm only going to try to achieve that, try to go once. Well, translate that to marketing and content creation, right? You got to block time to actually do the work. And this is not like implementation time or sending the email. This is creative time to create, where you are setting aside time to think, to generate ideas, to actually create that content. That is a muscle that has to be developed over time too, just like going to the gym.
All right. So let me state back some of my favorite things that you've said, and that'll lead to our next question. It sounds like you believe that founders, early stage businesses, micro businesses, they're reluctant to narrow down the scope of offering, and they're reluctant to pick a key audience to go after and have that target persona early enough. So they're talking about too many messages to too many different kinds of industries, and they feel like they have to show up everywhere. And so this feels like a big energy drain to me. Is this the same? Would you say it's the most common energy drain, or are there things that you think, friends, if in the first year you would do X? That's a better, is
Yeah.
there something that's even a better energy saver?
That's a really great question. So, there's sometimes there's fear behind this.
Yes.
Sometimes
I'm going to jump in and say it's almost all about fear. Okay.
yeah,
I mean, from personal testimony and all the sales coaching I've done, there's just so much we don't know. And let's be real. A person starts as a founder and becomes the chief of everything because of a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's aspirational identity. Sometimes it's out of necessity. There was a layoff. Who knows? And nobody knows how to do all the things. It's very overwhelming.
yeah, it absolutely is. And when you're starting a business or you're hitting certain milestones in your business, there is a tendency to try to grab at anything that's going to stick and get momentum. When I'm working with clients, I really want them to answer 3 questions with me. And it's a Venn diagram. And the thing that we go after is the overlap of these 3 things.
Okay.
The first is, what are you really an expert in? Not just good at, but exceptional at.
Okay.
And the second thing is, in that area, what are people most likely to buy from you? And what is that problem you are solving for them? And that third area is, what brings you joy in your work?
You're back to joy because you feel like they won't do it. They won't stick with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in marketing for 25 odd years. I've worn all the hats. I've done all the things. So I can do all of the different parts of marketing that's available to do. But strategy is what I love. It's what brings me joy. And I know that I bring the best to my clients when I'm in that zone of genius for me. When I am doing the thing that I truly love. It's really the reason I started the business in the first place, is to do only the thing that I love to do.
Did that take you a little while, Dana? Like, tell us just a little bit about your story. Did you start out knowing it would be strategy, or was it process elimination because you became bitter about work that you had accepted, thought, why did I agree to that?
So I started my business 5 years ago in some change, like 5.5 years ago. It probably took me 3 years into it, going through the process of like, I can build websites. I can write email copy. I can do social media posting and implementation. And because I could sell those things, I could do them. But what I noticed is along the way, the part that I was actually loving doing was solving the problems that my clients were having and identifying them and figuring out solutions to them. That's really all strategy is at the end of the day, is understanding what's working, what's not working, and what we need to double down on to do more because it is, and what we need to let go of because it's not actually working.
Okay. So even the teachers here are saying this is an evolution. It's a process. And our admonition to people would be niche as fast as you can into that ideal buyer, simplify your offers, and get honest with yourself about where you're willing to show up. Do you love sending emails? Dana, I love sending emails. I know you know this because you're on my email list. Okay, if you take all of the groups I'm responsible for, my leaders, events, I'm counting every single email. Okay. But this is how much I love email marketing. Now, I have a team that does this. So, to be fair to the solopreneur who's listening, know that I have a part-time contract writer and someone else who loads it in Kit. So, I do have a team now that helps me. I don't do it by myself anymore. But I'm embarrassed to tell you, but for my little business, my team sent 68,000 emails in 2025.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Now, for the listener, I've been doing this for 10 years. And this is me and 2 part-time people, that put these together. And it's across every single thing across probably 4 or 5 brands. So, I mean, this is a lot of emails. But you know what? It didn't feel like that to me. I love email marketing.
So I know why I love email marketing.
Why is
And
that?
I'm curious about why you love it. But the reason that I love email marketing is I believe it's really relationship building. It's a one-on-one conversation. If it's written in the right way, if it's really heartfelt, if you understand who you're writing to, then it is a one-on-one conversation. I think of current and whenever I'm writing emails for my business or for clients, I'm thinking about one particular person when I'm writing that copy, or I'm having a contractor who works with me actually write the copy. Like part of the work that we do is like getting really specific about audience profile. Like
Yes.
who is that person? What are their fears? What are their motivations? What are their desires? What's holding them back?
Yes.
What's elevating them up?
Yes.
And how do we align that with the service offering for the client?
Yes.
How do we align that with the service offerings that I offer?
I do love it for that reason. I think the other reason I love it, Dana, is because it's a little bit pathological, truthfully. It's that because I want to serve the whole world, even though I know that that's not realistic, email marketing is a way you can teach and give that's free.
Yep.
I mean, it's not free to
Absolutely.
me, right? But that it's free to the consumer. And it just means a lot to me that, for example, if a person can't attend our conferences yet, because all in by the time you fly and you go to all the things, it's several $1,000s and we do it twice a year. And so some people just aren't ready to make that investment, but there's lots of other ways they can engage and they want to learn. And so being on lists, signing up for workshops, things like that, and just being made aware of what's coming up, it's a real way to serve. And I think that's part of it for me is that it feels like almost universally applicable. Basically,
Yeah.
anyone who's willing to read an email. I like that part.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yes. It is one of those evergreen marketing strategies.
And I'll tell you my LinkedIn reason I love LinkedIn is because I love to comment and I like to comment on posts that a lot of other people didn't comment on because I notice when someone comments on mine.
Yep.
And I feel like if you want to build a relationship with someone, it is one of the
Yep.
dearest ways to do it. And it's highly personal. When people say they don't understand how people like LinkedIn and that it is impersonal or they feel like they're getting trolled all the time, like I don't know who you're following because the good humans who are in my network, it is not like that.
Right. 100%.
I love to be someone that I know on the other end. They're going, "Oh, someone commented."
I mean,
Because we all have posts that we
there's a
think
little
will work.
dopamine hit,
Yeah,
right? It's a little,
we all have posts we think will work, and then no one responds. I
yep.
mean, like it happens to the best of us, and
Yeah.
so I love to be there in that way. It's really gratifying.
Appreciate that about you.
Thank you. You could count on me on the less clicked on posts. Okay, we probably got to bring this home. I've enjoyed talking with you so much. Last question. What would you encourage someone to think about when they make their first marketing hire? What should that person tend to do? And what would
Yeah.
you want these small businesses listening to? What can we tell them that will save them time and money?
So the pattern that I often see when it comes to hiring is that clients or B2B service providers that I've worked with, they often hire before they've ever had to really define what business success looks like and how revenue generating activities will get them here. So the most expensive misunderstanding usually looks like one of two things. The first thing is they're hiring for implementation before strategy. That could be that they're hiring social media managers or website developers or designers, or they're hiring a marketing assistant. These are all doers. And don't get me wrong, they're incredibly helpful and valuable. But without an understanding of what success looks like, these could really be wasted efforts.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I often see happen is they're hiring for relief without clarity on goals, audience, or message. So here's what I often recommend that they do instead.
Okay.
And this is the sequence to do it. Get clarity first. Then do a strategy around what you've gotten clear about. And then you move to implementation. Otherwise, you're putting the cart before the horse.
And Dana, when you say good strategy, you're saying it's just a plan. It's just developing a plan that's observing what we've learned so far and then deciding how we're going to go after what we're doing next.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It could be as simple as a client deciding that they want to do workshops. And so their goal for 2026 could be to do one workshop every month for the year. So 12 workshops. That's a measurable goal, right? And then they got to get clear about, okay, what kind of workshop and where do I need to take that workshop and who needs to come to it in order to deliver the right kind of content and attract the right kind of prospects. And around that, they can set a benchmark that says, in order for me to feel successful about this workshop, I need 20 people to come. And so we've now just set 2 goals and we have a sketch of what a plan could look like. Marketing strategy doesn't actually need to be any more complicated than that.
Okay. That's helpful because strategy sounds fancy.
Oh, it sounds terrifying to lots of people.
You're really fancy, Dana.
Yeah. I so appreciate one of the things that brings me joy about the work that I do is demystifying what marketing can actually do for a business, what marketing actually is. There's so much misunderstanding, and marketing gets a bad rap for lots of very reasonable and viable reasons. Like a lot of times marketing and strategy doesn't work. Some of that is a misalignment of expectations. Like we're going to just think that if we have a crystal ball or a magic 8 ball, we can shake it, get an answer, and all of a sudden, all of our problems are going to be solved. Like that, the reality is that marketing isn't a quick win. There isn't some magic wand that I can wave. There are certainly tried and true things we can do to make marketing function at a higher level for any business. That's often rooted in, are you talking to the right people and are you talking to them in the right way? If we get clear about those 2 elements, then we can translate that to a website, to email, to social, to all of the marketing and sales things.
Dana, one thing I appreciate about you is that you do want to break it down for people and demystify it and make it not scary. And some people make themselves more valuable, or they perceive they're making themselves more valuable by making things sound fancy and hard. Every business needs marketing, and it's one of the lie awake at night very first things they have to solve for because they have to get more leads. And so I really appreciate the way that you approach that. How can people who hear this podcast a month after it drops, a year after it drops, years from now, how can they find you so that they can learn more about how you help put plans together?
Yeah, absolutely. They can go straight to my website, which is whisper without an E, WHISPR.us.
Whisper.us. Awesome. And I happen to know because I'm a commenter on the post. He's also on LinkedIn. There's some other places to find him as well.
That is true.
Dana, thank you for today. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate your partnership and your friendship and the way that you help businesses, specifically services providers, navigate this uncharted territory. It's clear that you love it and that you're working in your joy, and that's a good model for people too.
Well, I so appreciate you, Catherine. And I'd love to leave your listeners with one final thought or one nugget.
Great.
Which is when growth is clear and intentional, it stops being something being chased and starts being something they can rely on.
And we all want that.
Absolutely, we do.
We all want that.
I want that.
I want that. I want that. Thanks, Dana.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Appreciate you.